I believe it's called seasonality for a reason. We are in the spring selling and buying season here in Northeast Florida, and our market is really behaving as expected. Mike Rolewicz here, 904 Home Guide team with the XP Realty in Jacksonville Beach. Going to do our market update and some fun facts on a recent Wall Street Journal study that named Jacksonville the #2 hottest job market in the country. In fact, of the top 10, actually of the top 6, 4 cities in Florida are in the top 6. So those doomsday predictions for a crash might be happening in states that don't have the hottest job markets. They're not happening here. So quick dive into the data. As I mentioned at the top, seasonality. What happens in our market? We're seeing it play out very predictably. Our median sales price. So our median sales price for Duval and St. Johns County single family homes, where we do about 80% of our team's business, that stands at $400,000 now, up 1.3% from last month, almost 7% from this time last year, and nearing the peak we hit in last June of a little over $406,000. So we typically see this upswing all the way up through June, July, and then we have that fall. We have a little break in the summer. Other interesting stats, our closed sales surged again this month, up 22% versus February, still down 10% from last year. Some of that's interest rates, and we're going to touch on that in a bit. Active inventory, that usually starts to decline this time of year. Hasn't just yet. It's sort of staying level. We're up 5% from this time last month, but up 52% from this time last year. The strong buyer demand continues, though. Our month supply of inventory, which determines whether we're in a buyer or a seller's market, we're sitting right at 3.1 months of inventory. Last month, I mentioned, that was over 4 months. We were closer to this balanced market. Again, that seasonal move is happening. More buyers coming off the sidelines, gobbling up that inventory that's continuing at the market. So with 3.1, still in a seller's market that's down almost 14% from last month, but actually it's interesting. It's up 70% from last year where we were under 2 months of inventory. So go to link in the description. We're going to have the Wall Street Journal article that breaks down all these statistics that Moody's pulled together to determine these hottest job markets. But we're constantly taking incoming, inbound referral buyers with big companies that you have heard of. And these are nice paying jobs. These are not minimum wage type roles, which is helping push that sales price up. Interest rates, we're still challenged. They're now hovering in the mid 7s after strong employment numbers. Inflation is still persistent. So the likelihood of those Fed rate cuts that were going to start in March, then they said maybe June. Now the Fed is indicating we're probably into the third quarter before we get that interest rate relief. So it's definitely still a challenge for our buyers to make things work. So sellers, even in this seller's market, a lot of sellers and certainly the builders are offering those concessions to make deals work. And we're happy to walk you through how we're winning for both our buyers and sellers in this market. So we expect the surge in prices to continue through the spring, and we'll see what happens in the summer, and we'll see you next month.